Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to review a trailer for a movie I'm very excited about that comes out next summer. Ghostbusters Afterlife. They just released the title of the movie the other day before they released the trailer yesterday. And this is a direct sequel to the original 1 and 2. Just 30 years later, as they're describing it. And I say it was probably a good move. The 2016 version of Ghostbusters, I didn't see it in the theaters. The trailers looked awful. It didn't look like Ghostbusters, didn't feel like Ghostbusters. I said I'll wait for video. And when it came out, my wife and I sat down on streaming and watched it. And my wife and I both hated it. It wasn't funny. The story, the script wasn't good. The ghosts looked terrible. And I knew they spent a lot of money on it. I think they spent like $130 million on that movie, and it just fell flat. And I like Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy in movies. They've done some funny things, and I like them as actresses. The other two I wasn't familiar with. I'm not a Saturday Night Live fan, so I didn't know who Kate McKinnon was. I've seen her in a few things since then, I know they had Chris Helmsworth in there. It was actually the only performance by Chris Helmsworth I don't like. I don't like him in that movie. I don't find him funny. And the story just didn't click. I just thought it was a pretty much, they were trying to be their own thing. I don't want to bash it too much. I just don't like it. If I had to give it a rating, I'd give it like a 2 out of 10. That's how badly I don't like that movie. Compared to the first two Ghostbusters, the movie was just nowhere in the class. Even Ghostbusters 2 was, I know people don't like that as much as the first one, and I agree. But Ghostbusters 2 is still an enjoyable movie to watch. This 2016 version, I can't find any enjoyment in it. So when they said they were going to make another one, obviously they weren't going to let the franchise die. Ivan Reitman, who directed the first two movies, brought his son in, Jason Reitman, who's a director who's been around for a while with Thank You for Smoking and other movies. And actually, Jason Reitman's in Ghostbusters 2 at the party where Ray and Winston go to sing and dance for the kids. He's one of the kids that calls him out and says his dad says they're full of crap. That's the director of this movie. And he said they're going to connect it directly to the original two movies. And it has come out recently that the remaining original Ghostbusters that are alive, Bill Murray, Ernie Hudson, Dan Aykroyd, are going to come back. According to IMDb, Annie Potts, who played Janine Melnitz in the first two movies, is back. And Sigourney Weaver is even going to make an appearance. Now, the new movie also stars Finn Wolfhard, which everybody knows from Stranger Things. He was also in It 1 and 2. Carrie Coon, who was in, I know she was in a few other things. I only know her from Gone Girl. I know she's in that movie. She plays Ben Affleck's sister in that movie. And a young actress named McKenna Grace. I'm not overly familiar with any of her work. And Paul Rudd is in the movie, which is a nice addition. And now the action, according to the trailer and everything I've read, the action takes place in a small town. They move into this creepy old farmhouse that was owned by their grandfather. As the trailer goes on, we can only assume their grandfather was Egon Spengler, because they show her going down into this little room that has spores, molds, and fungus, a proton pack, and the uniforms. And her brother discovers Ecto-1 in the barn. That's all cool. Nostalgia gets you every time, especially if you love the first two movies, which I do. And it talks about how her grandfather died. He left the house to them, and they're kind of just going through everything to see what he left behind. And Paul Rudd, she takes a ghost trap in the school, and he's like, this is a ghost trap. And she doesn't even know what it is. Because the Ghostbusters, he even says in the trailer, there hasn't been a ghost sighting in 30 years, which would take it back to part 2. Since they defeated Vigo, there hasn't been a ghost sighting pretty much. The way they set it up here, it seems. But there's also a hint that a terror dog might be in here. There's a scene, a quick shot where Paul Rudd's in a car and a foot comes down. It looks like the terror dog and it growls. Who knows if they're bringing Gozer back or anything like that. I have a couple theories what I think happened after Ghostbusters 2, but they're just theories. And it shows there's a shot of the kids walking towards a mine, and it says Shandor Mines. Now, in the first movie, Ivo Shandor was the one that had the cult that was trying to bring Gozer into the real world. So I wonder if they're going to tie it back to that, or it's just a callback to the first movie. who knows at this point? It's all speculation. They're keeping a pretty tight lid on the plot other than what they showed us. And at the end of the trailer, it shows them riding around in Ecto-1 and chasing. It looked like Slimer. I couldn't tell. It moves really fast, but she's using a proton pack trying to catch this ghost while her brother's driving the Ecto-1. It's a cool little shot. And honestly, this teaser trailer got me excited about the movie. It shows you just enough. It doesn't give anything away. It doesn't show the original Ghostbusters, which I prefer. Save them for later. Because if you're going to make it about these new characters and you're going to bring the old ones in, we already know the old characters. I'm sure it'll show them in other trailers. Set up the new characters. Set up the situation. The action's moving in a small town. And it got me really excited. I can't wait to see more pictures and more trailers from this. And I'm excited to be able to take my son to see it. He loves the first two movies and the real Ghostbusters cartoons. So, yeah, if you haven't seen the trailer, check it out. It's on YouTube. It got me excited. Thanks, and have a great day. Bye.